Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. It's Lolo for those of you who didn't already know. So today's Make Up Your Mind is for us 20-somethings, us, millennials, Gen Zers, us that have grown up in this modern competitive world. I feel like we're probably like the first generation to really experience this quarter life crisis thing, and it's actually quite deep. Like, it's a thing, and I feel like people should talk about it. PSA, mine isn't too bad. I have my days, but it's not too bad because I've done some research. I'm aware, like when I feel the triggers, I'm like, okay, this is what that is. So what I've done is I've kind of just told you guys the stuff I've learned. I've told you guys the things that I have realized are part of a quarter life crisis. So don't think you're crazy, don't think you're weird, like we're all dealing with it. So yeah, if you're interested in me talking about this, navigating my mid-20s, man, then keep on watching. Okay, so in this video I have done no planning or anything for what I want to say. I'm just kind of gonna speak from the heart and from my mind. I feel like this topic is something that affects a lot of people, but it's not spoken about a lot. I feel like people only talk about mid-life crises, and it's like, like us 20-somethings, like we have things we're going through as well. And I feel like being 25, like I know that people always, like when I was younger, they spoke about it, about how like they started feeling different at 25, or like at 25 they felt like an influx of pressure or whatever. And honestly, because I had in my mind everything that I was doing was like going well, so I never even considered it to be something that might affect me. I was just always like, quarter life crises, interesting. But when I turned 25, guys, it was almost like a switch went off. Like, I kid you not, I all of a sudden felt like under a lot of pressure. Like, I all of a sudden felt like I needed to achieve, I needed to know what I was doing. Like, I'm 5 years to 30. I remember being 20, like I need to sort this thing out because I can wake up at any moment and be like, crap, where have all my 20s gone? Okay, so the first thing I have to say, or that I want to say, is actually two things that my dad used to tell me when I was younger, and I really only understood the value and the benefit when I started going through my crisis, my bad. So the first thing is, comparison is the thief of joy, and procrastination is the thief of time. And I feel like those are probably like the umbrella of what I would call like my coping mechanisms, because a lot of things that started making me feel down was I was like, crap, I want to do this, I want to achieve this, like I'm supposed to have done this, I had this idea, and then I'd be comparing to people who I also had ideas and then they were able to like mobilize and move really quickly, or people who were able to be consistent when I wasn't, or people who, like, it wasn't like I was jealous, but it was like it was making me realize that I wasn't maximizing to my own potential. But obviously everybody's on a different path and like doing things at different times. So despite the fact that, like, yeah, that person may have had the idea at the same time as you and maybe they've been able to mobilize faster, but do you know whether they are knocking for the bar? No, you don't. Do you know whether their daddy has stolen all the money from their local government? No, you don't. Like, do you know whether or not their mom beats them every day and sends them out to be a prostitute? No, you don't. So everybody's story is kind of different. So that's why I was like, okay, comparison is actually the thief of joy, because I didn't realize how much I was actually achieving. So I have this planner, I think it's even here. So this planner, it's in one of my blogs. It's called Plan with God. It's by Faye Campson, and it's just such a good planner. One of the first things it asks you to do is to list out your current achievements. And it wasn't until I was listing it out that I was like, bruh, like you've actually done a lot. Like, you actually have done law school, you have your law degree, you've worked at a law firm for 2.5 years, like you've done a lot, sis. Like, calm down, slow your horses, you're gonna be fine. So yeah, comparison, thief of joy, thief of joy. Do whatever you can to not compare. It's okay to like look at your peers and see what everybody else is doing, but don't compare yourself. Like, everybody's journey is different, trust me. So the next thing my dad told me was, procrastination is a thief of time. And this one, like, I struggle with because I'm like a queen procrastinator. Even this video I'm filming right now, I'm supposed to have filmed it yesterday so that it can go out today, but I'm filming it today and it's going out today because I'm a waste man. Like, I procrastinate. I always put things off to the last minute. And what that does is it just decreases your productivity, which means you're not like achieving as much as you probably would have done if you were doing things on time. I feel like maximizing productivity is one of the key and main things that you should try to do. I think it really like simplifies your life, and it makes your goals seem a lot more achievable because you're actually utilizing as much time as you can during the day. I always talk about this Beyonce thing about having the same hours in the day as Beyonce, but we don't, because where we live, it's just a little bit more complicated to do things, so you have to maximize your day. I used to love sleeping in. I still love sleeping in, but now I try and wake up as early as I can, because I find that the earlier I actually wake up, the more I can do with my day, the more places I can go, the more ideas I can have, the more content I can make. So I'm not struggling as much as if I'm trying to do everything on, well, I am right now because I'm being late today, but it's a work in progress. Like I'm trying. So I'm trying to just be as like on job and on the ball as I physically can. Because like I said, you just can achieve more during the day. This also applies to like your ideas and your brain babies. So like it's the same thing as like just do it, like just start. Like it's so easy to procrastinate and say, oh, you know, I'll start this when I have 10,000 followers. I will do this when I have 1 million naira. I will do this when this. I will do this when this. I will do this when that. But just start, because the more you procrastinate, the less time you actually have to achieve it. Like we only have a set amount of time on this earth, and our days are really numbered. You don't know how long you're here for. So I always say like do your best to just like survive and live and thrive and get the best out of your life on this earth. Like I'll use this YouTube thing as an example. Do you know that I have had a YouTube channel for almost a decade, and I've not done crap with it. Like I literally haven't done crap. I'm a big YouTube watcher, and I used to put out content like here and there, but like I never did anything that I would even say I was proud of consistently, to be like, oh, okay, yeah, like I am a YouTuber, like this is something I'm doing. I just used to do it because I enjoyed it, and then if I would start feeling down, oh wow, if I would start feeling down or not like my content, or something would happen in my personal life, I would completely just check YouTube, completely. And I would just procrastinate any video I wanted to film. If I wasn't in the mood, I'd be like, oh, now I'm not in the mood, I'll film it next week. And I was just procrastinating and procrastinating and procrastinating, and before I knew it, years and years had gone by. And if you had a certain level of maybe traction to your page, you don't have that anymore because people have gotten bored of waiting. So, you know, I'm now... Does this ever happen where your brush sheds and it like... I'm not picking my nose, I swear, but it's giving me tickly nose? My goodness. I'm so ticklish. Yeah, so like that's kind of what I feel about that. Procrastination is the thief of time. Whatever ideas you have, just do it. Whatever it is you need to do, like just do it, just try it. Just do it, just try it, and just really see where it takes you. Because I myself have seen, like, I've stopped procrastinating with YouTube, and I've seen such a massive growth in the space of like God knows how long, literally like a month. So yeah, procrastination and comparison, thief of joy, thief of time. The next thing I've learned in navigating this quarter life crisis, and every time I have to say this word I mess it up, crisis, and this one has been actually, I'm not gonna lie, has been quite difficult for me to accept, is that you can't trust anybody. You cannot trust anybody. Nobody. Like maybe just your family, but you really can't trust anybody. Like your friends, everybody, they will embarrass you, and they will embarrass you so badly it would just be confusing. I learned this one the hard way. Like I can't tell you how many times I've had to like cut somebody off in my head. I'm not really the type of person that cuts people off in real life. Like I don't know, I just feel like with friends, like women especially are so volatile, and like especially when you've shared a bond with somebody, there's so many like shared traumas and shared secrets and shared happiness in there that I just don't, it's just not worth making it hostile. So I just pull back. Like I don't really address things. I mean, I might address it subtly, but you know, like you know you did me dirty, you know you were gossiping about me, you know you were saying shit that wasn't true, or you know that like, you know, you just know, bitch, like, you know. So there's just no point in me addressing it with you, because I'm just gonna upset myself when I hear your reason just not make any sense to me. So yeah, I've had to really learn that like the whole friendship thing you see in the movies, it doesn't exist. I mean, maybe it does, but it doesn't exist for me, and it doesn't exist for a lot of people. So I've just sort of placed the people in my life in different categories. Like, some people are work friends, some people are like going out friends, some people are like the friends I really call when I'm like down. I'm a very trusting person, and that's another thing I've learned. You can't trust nobody, so I'm learning to like be a bit more careful with releasing information, because that shit done bit me in the ass so many times. Like, yeah, I come from a big sharing family, so like I just wasn't, and I've always been in a relationship, so I've always been like cuddled and cocooned, and I never really understood how crazy things were socially, probably up until the last quarter of last year / the first quarter of this year. It has really blown my mind. So I mean, I'm grateful for the lesson, because better late than never. But yeah, I've really learned that you can't trust anybody but yourself, and you really need to lean on yourself and trust yourself. Otherwise, you ain't gonna survive. You're not gonna survive, I promise. The next thing I've learned is the value of a Naira, be a dollar or a pound or whatever, but the value of currency. Like, you know, when you're little, like your pocket money is very disposable, and you're not worried about like bills or like future investments or the stuff you actually want to achieve for yourself. Like, you're just kind of worried about, right, I need to make it to the end of the month because I need to get this outfit, I need to get these shoes, I need to buy this game, I need to, you know, when you're in uni and you're younger than that, like you're not worrying about petrol or NEPA or anything. So I really learned like now how to value myself in terms of my professional services, because I have to survive. I know the cost of living, so I'm no longer just gonna do things for clouds or do things for exposure. Exposure is not gonna pay my bills, honey. Exposure is not gonna pay them bills. So I've now learned that, okay, there's a way that you can have a conversation with people. I've learned how to market myself. I've learned, trust me, when you're chasing that cash, you will learn all the skills you need to learn to have a conversation with people about, like, you know, what's the word, bargaining and negotiating and trying to get higher pay. So also my spending habits have changed. Like, before, like, I could lend my friend some money and be like, I beg, it's 5K. Now, pay me back my money, bitch. Like, that money is gonna do something for me. That could be my meal tomorrow or whatever. Like, I've learned to like not eat out as much as I do also. I used to, rather, because, you know, that's really an expense, especially in Lagos. Like, eating out can be so expensive. So I've learned how to budget. You know, I've learned that it's not easy to make money. Like, you know, I've learned how to identify a fraud guy, because if you're spending 3, 4, 5 M in the club every weekend, your daddy better be freaking Warren Buffett. Otherwise, you're so daft. You are so daft and stupid, and you didn't work for that money. It's clear as day. Okay, I mean, this ties in pretty well with the not trusting anybody, but I've really learned the value of family. Like, you know when they say somebody day your back, like they day your back, that is your family. Like, those are, like, don't get me wrong, well, family too has K-leg, and they can be a bit mad and crazy, because obviously everybody's different and you don't all want the same things, and especially when they're a bunch of strong characters. That's a lot like myself and my older sister. But I love her to bits. Like, I love her, and I love her kids and my parents and my other sister and my brother. Like, I just love them in a way that I could never love anybody. Like, they have been there for me through thick and thin, and they never judge. They judge me, sharp, but like, they judge me with love. Do you get what I mean? Like, they never leave me. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, my family is my blood, and maybe because I've been dogged out so many times with people that aren't my blood, it has really made me appreciate the people that are in my corner. And also, like, it's made me not want for friends as much as I did before, because I have 2 sisters and a brother and a mother I'm close to. Like, what do I need y'all for? Nothing. The next thing I realized, which I'm actually really grateful for, I mean, you hear this thing a lot when you're younger, that it happens when you get older, but it's true. It happened to me. My thirst to know God has deepened in a way that, like, I didn't even know could exist. Like, I've always had a good relationship with God in terms of prayer and stuff, but I've never been one of those people who like prays out loud and like prays with heart. I've just never really known how to. It's not that I didn't want to, I've just never really known how. And man, I guess the older you get, like the more you just experience life things, and you're like, the only person that can help me in this situation is God. I'm sorry, like it's actually just me and God that has to face this matter, because you human beings, you don't actually know what's really going on this P. So let me just call on Baba God, put everything to him, and just step back, because I don't know what's going on. That's literally been me. Like, listen, I can't do this. And you know, because me, like, I always put so much pressure on myself that I think it got to a point where I was like, you know what, do you want to know what, I am done. I am done. I'm not thinking about this anymore. I'm not making any decisions. Whatever God says will happen. Let his will be done. And that's just it for me. Like, tapped out of the driver's seat, stepped into the passenger, and just started chilling. And ever since then, I think my life has actually changed. I think I've become so much more confident. I'm like aware. I just get the craziest ideas. I get energy from nowhere. I get discipline from nowhere. Like, it's not from nowhere, it's coming from God. I can feel it. But I definitely think that, like, that's one thing in my quarter life crisis that, like, I'm grateful for. I have a much better relationship with God, and I would actually encourage everybody to try and do the same thing. Like, I think it's been very beneficial for me. The next thing, again, sorry, I don't know how many of these they're gonna be. I'm sort of going off by heart because I want it to be like real. The next thing I would say is that my desire for success has become insatiable. Like, the way I crave success, and I crave financial freedom and independence, and I crave being a force to be reckoned with in my industry. I breathe it, I sleep it, I eat it, I think it, it's work, it's all I think about these days. I'm like, okay, right, Temiloloyoung, gotta get the paper, right, Lolo, like, chase this deal, do this, do that, upload this video. Like, I am so obsessed with being successful. It's actually, I think, borderline problematic. Like, it's not borderline problematic, it is problematic. Like, it is really all I think about. It's what makes me happy. Like, if you were to ask me, like, oh, what is a thought that turns you on? Like, what is your fantasy? It's actually success. Like, it has shifted so much from bags and like, it's not even success in the material way. It's actually success in the impactful way. Like, I want to impact people. I want to do things. I want to be proud of what I do. I want my kids to be proud of what I do. And that's really kind of something that is driving me so much these days. Is just, I want to be successful, and I want to be independently successful. I don't want to rely on any man. I don't want to rely on my parents. I don't want to rely on anybody. Like, me, I want to be successful by myself. Okay, and literally pretty much last thing I would say is be patient with yourself. Like, Nigeria makes you think 25 or like mid-20s is old, and it's time to marry, and it's time to settle down, and what are you doing with your life? You're only 25. Like, do you know how young you are in every other part of the world? You are literally still considered pretty much a baby. But for some reason in Nigeria, we seem as if we hit 30 and it's like, oh well, your time's up, sorry. Nah, like, there's so much to do in your 20s. Your 20s are for living, they're for enjoying, they're for thriving, they're for prospering, they're for trying things, they're for failing. Like, this is not the time to be like Birkin bad, you know, balling. This is the time to be hustling and stacking and just experimenting. So don't let Nigeria make you think that you are late or you are slow or whatever. Your mid-20s is still young. It's still a time for enjoying, and you are doing amazing, sweetie. You're doing amazing. But yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. That is what I have realized so far in my quarter life crisis. It's actually not going too bad. I'm enjoying it still, but I think that's because I'm like aware of what's going on. But yeah, I just thought I would share with you guys because I feel like, you know, it's our 20s and we're kind of all struggling here a little bit, and I just wanted to talk to you. As you can tell, like, I didn't write anything down. This came all from my brain because I just wanted to have a chat with you guys. And yeah, I use these as a pep talk for myself as well. So they're not just to chat to you, they're also to chat to myself. So, you know, I'm really trying to figure out this 20s thing, and I'm kind of having fun doing it. And that's what I want to like tell everybody else as well. Just make sure you're having fun, make sure you're doing your best, make sure you're enjoying yourself so you don't look back and be like, crap, I really wasted my 20s, you know? Yeah. Alright guys, that is the end of the video, obviously, and I will see you guys unfailingly on Friday. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please hit the subscribe button, join our friendship group, and yeah, leave a nice comment and a thumbs up. I always appreciate those, and I will see you guys on Friday. Mwah. Bye!